What's good, my warrior fam? Woohoo! Welcome back. Welcome back. I am so excited for another season of From Weeping to Warrior, Igniting Freedom with Roshawn Nicole, where we talk about all things mental health awareness and wellness. I'm so excited for this season. Thank you for joining me today. And if you missed out on last season, I'm going to do a quick recap so you can go and check out last season. And we're going to talk a little bit about how the season is going to look as well. But before we get started, if you would like to be a guest on my show for this season, I would love to have you. Hit me up at info@RoshawnNicoleWellness.com. If you have a Weeping to Warrior story, a story of overcoming challenges and obstacles, we would love to hear your story and bring you on as a guest. So go ahead and hit me up and we can have you on for this season. So, all right. I'm excited, friends. Thank you for joining me again for this season. I'm so excited. We're going to kind of keep it the same as last season. Of course, we're talking about mental health awareness and wellness, which is a passion of mine. Love to speak on it, love to sing about it. And we're going to talk about last season and how that went. And you can go and hit up on my YouTube channel and you'll be able to see all episodes. There's 16 episodes and we had 15 amazing guests. And so I'll just give a little recap in case you missed out or if you want to go and check it out again. So we talked about last season, we talked about overcoming grief. We had some guests on talking about the loss of a mother, the loss of a son. And one of the guests also is an author and shared her story and published her book as well. So go and check that out. We also had from speech class to beauty queen, and that's such a great story of how she went from speech class in elementary to now a beauty queen. We talked about overcoming anxiety and depression through songwriting, so an outlet of how he overcame anxiety and depression. We also talked about overcoming addiction to award-winning singer. We had a lot of award-winning authors and singers and motivational speakers on last season. So I hope that it encourages you and inspires you. So if you are feeling depressed or going through anxiety, that you know that there is hope on the other side. And these stories are so inspirational, so encouraging. We also talked about a single mother. She went from single mother to now an award-winning author and poet. And so now she is currently speaking in elementary schools, sharing her books. And that is so exciting. She just let me know that a couple weeks ago. And so I'm just cheering her on as well. And so excited for just all the amazing things that's happening in my past guests' lives. We also talked about overcoming addiction with functional medicine, and that's a passion of mine. That's what we're going to talk a lot about this season, of how to use functional medicine and holistic methods on how to overcome depression and anxiety. We had a guest that talked about from prison to award-winning rapper. He's won so many awards with his music and inspiring others through rapping and also motivational speaking. Another guest talked about from being bullied in elementary when she was a young girl in elementary school to now a motivational school speaker. She goes in schools and she motivates and inspires the schools, the teachers, and talks about anti-bully strategies. So that's also another one to check out as well. From inmate to inspirational speaker and rapper. And we had from rock bottom to R&B superstar. So check out last season. I hope it encourages you and inspires you. And the last episode from last season, I shared my story. So if you want to know more about my story, I'll give you a little sneak peek today. We'll kind of talk about that now, but in-depth story, you can check out episode 16, where I talk about how I struggled in silence with depression, anxiety, PTSD, and addiction. For 9 years, I struggled in silence. And so I'll give you a story of that now, so you know exactly what this season is going to look like. So this season is going to look like, first, let me share something with you. I know last season I talked a lot about how I was in school. I went back to school to become a FDNP, which is a functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner. And I had a friend on, I think that was episode 8, where she is an FDNP, and she actually inspired me to go back to school to become an FDN, because I was sharing with her how I was struggling in silence with depression, anxiety, and addiction. And so the missing piece to my story is functional medicine. And functional medicine truly saved my life because when I went to school, I was able to find out how I can use functional labs to figure out what's going on in my body. Why am I having anxiety? Why am I going through depression? Why am I suffering? Why am I having digestive issues? And so the labs were able to tell me what was going on. And so I just want you to know that I graduated, and I want to show you my certificate. So I want you to celebrate with me. I'm excited to be done and to be certified. And so now I can help others. I know how it feels to suffer in silence with anxiety and depression. When you feel like there is no hope, when you feel like you're in this dark tunnel, when you're in despair. And so I want to, not only share my story, not only sing about it, but also help clients, whether if that's one-on-one individuals. And so how that would look is, if you are interested in being a client, we would have a one-on-one consultation, and I work virtual, and we would sit down and we'll have a conversation. We'll see if we are a great fit, and then we'll talk about which labs, if you're complaining about your hormones or digestive system, we're going to look at which labs would best fit you. You will do the labs in the comfort of your home. You would send the labs off, and then I will get the results and be able to give you a protocol, and we can work together a month, 3 months, or maybe longer, depending. And I will give you a personalized, customized protocol that will support your diet, rest, exercise, stress reduction, and supplements as well. And we'll do some course correcting if we need to. I'm also there for accountability, to cheer you on. And if we also need to retest a few weeks to a few months later to see your progress. So that's how I work with clients one-on-one. And as I'm also available for workplace wellness. So as most of you might know, that I worked in the education, I was a classroom teacher, and I suffered in silence. And so my niche really is to support and to help burn out educators and professionals, and to help them, to give them some tools and some strategies that they can use to either prevent burnout or overcome or recover from burnout. And so I'm just excited that I have launched my business, Roshawn Nicole Wellness and Education Consulting. And I just wanted to share that with you today on how I can support you or your organization, and as well as what we're going to be talking about this season. And we're going to talk about some strategies of how to overcome burnout. So we're not just going to have guests, but it's also going to be educational and informative. Hopefully that you can walk away with some takeaways to apply to your life. So just wanted to, talk a little bit about that. And today we're just going to talk about what is burnout, because that is my passion. That is my niche. That's what I enjoy talking about, because like I said, when I was in the classroom, I suffered in silence with burnout. And I just remember when I was in the classroom, as we know, as educators, we wear so many hats, and we're not just teachers, classroom teachers. We're the moms or the fathers, we're the counselors, we're the psychiatrists. We wear so many hats. We have to-do lists that never ends, right? Once we cross something off, we're putting something back on that to-do list. It is a never-ending story. We're dealing with behaviors. We're grading. We're calling parents. We're lesson planning. We're grading. There's conferences, and it's just so overwhelming. And so when I was in the classroom, I remember that I would get panic attacks. I had to call for the principal to come and cover my classroom. I was driving to school crying, and maybe you might be driving to your work crying, or on your break, or as you're driving home, you might be feeling overwhelmed. And so I realized, you know what, it's time for me to go and get the help that I need, so then I can help others. And so I want to talk about what is burnout. And I know you might have heard that term before. What is burnout? And so burnout is a state of emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion, and is caused by prolonged unmanaged stress. So it's caused by stress, like you have stress on top of stress on top of stress on top of stress, and it just keeps building. And it's causing you to have so many different symptoms. Okay. Now burnout is on a spectrum. You can be in the beginning phases of burnout or towards like in deep burnout. Okay. Burnout doesn't discriminate. So any profession, whether if you're an educator, a nurse, a doctor, a lawyer, a singer, you can have burnout. And so burnout is unlike regular stress where you can still see solutions. Burnout leaves you feeling empty and depleted. Okay. It leaves you feeling hopeless. It leaves you feeling disconnected and ineffective. Maybe you're feeling like, I don't feel like I'm an effective educator or an effective nurse or whatever your profession may be. Maybe you're feeling like, this is what I'm doing. I'm not really making a difference. Or maybe you're feeling like, I'm feeling exhausted. I have nothing to give to whatever your profession is. Okay. And so it can cause when you are in burnout, you might start to realize that you could have some symptoms. And we'll talk about what those symptoms can be. The list is a never-ending list, but some symptoms that we hear all the time is you might be struggling with insomnia, so having a difficult time falling asleep or staying asleep. You might be having racing thoughts, thinking of, I have this to do, I have this to do, I have this to do, and so that's causing insomnia, or it's causing you maybe to wake up at night. You might be having some digestive issues, some gut issues, finding yourself, eating different foods. You're not feeling great. It's not giving you energy, but you're feeling bloated. You might suffer with panic attacks or anxiety or depression. And here's one that I really want you just to resonate on. You might be having unhealthy coping skills. Okay. You might be using unhealthy things in your life, and that could be overeating. That could be undereating. You could be using medications, prescribed medications, overusing them, or drugs or drinking. And so if this resonates with you, if you're realizing like, oh, I feel like I'm in burnout. And like I said, burnout is a spectrum. So you could be in the beginning phases of it, or you can be deep down in burnout. If you're realizing like, I'm just so exhausted, and I'm some of these symptoms resonates with you, or like I said, there could be several other symptoms that you might be having. I want you to understand that there is hope. And if you come back each week, I'm going to give some homework for you, something that you can take away to apply to your life so that you're not having those unhealthy coping skills. Okay. So burnout also raises cortisol. And when it raises cortisol, that can disrupt your sleep, that can disrupt your hormones, that can also, you have your feel-good neurotransmitters such as dopamine and serotonin that helps with mood and energy and motivation. So you might be feeling like exhausted in the morning, like I'm so exhausted, I had no energy. So I kind of wanted to give you a picture of what burnout could look like and what symptoms. And so as an FDN, or as a holistic health practitioner, like I said, we do have some, and I have some here for you. We have some labs, some functional labs that can help you to identify what's going on in the body when you're feeling stressed and overwhelmed. What is that doing? What is that doing to your hormones? What about your digestive system? You're realizing you're eating healthy foods, but you're realizing that it's causing anxiety or it's giving you some digestive issues. So we have labs here. This is a great one, and this is tests for different types of 176 different foods. Okay. And the foods that you might be eating that you think is healthy might be causing anxiety, might be causing panic attacks, might be causing insomnia. Okay. And so I would love to help you to identify which foods to stay away from to bring inflammation down and to heal your gut and your body. We also have, and I'm just kind of showing you, I have several different labs, but these are like my favorite that I'm showing you today. We also have a GI map, and this baby, I love it because this will look at what is going on in your digestive system. It looks for parasites, for worms, for good bacteria, bad bacteria. And this really, truly, to be honest, if you know my story, like I said, I lived in the bathroom after my surgeries when I was really sick, and I stopped counting after a certain, like 20. And that's no joke. Like, I'm not even like exaggerating. Ask my family. Like, I was living in the bathroom and I thought that was going to be my life, because when I was in the hospital and I had abdominal surgery, after I left out, my digestive system was never the same. And so for years, I'm like, what is going on with my gut? Why am I living in the bathroom? And I would guess on the foods that I was eating, and then I would eat this food and then wait a couple days and then get a different reaction. And so it was just crazy. It was a lot and very overwhelming. And so this GI map truly had saved my life, and it let me know what was going on in my gut, in my digestive system. And so I was able to get a specific protocol, and now thank God I'm not living in the bathroom. So I just kind of want to give you an overview of, a celebration of being a functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner and just what I enjoy doing and what I enjoy speaking about. I combined story, science, and song. I share my story, about how I overcame. I sing about it, and now I would love to use science, which is functional labs, to help individuals, whether that's one-on-one or workplace wellness, to overcome or prevent burnout. So that's kind of what this season's going to be about. Like I said, we'll have some guests. We'll also have some mini segments, educational segments and informative segments that you can, take away and apply to your life to live in freedom, because that's what this podcast is all about. So I'm so glad you joined me for this season. I want you to come back every single week and do your homework and apply it to your life so you can have a healthy life and live in freedom. Our next episode, I'm going to have a special guest. She is going to talk about ways to some strategies that you can overcome stress. If you heard of EFT, it's emotional freedom tapping, on how to use tapping your, well, I'll let her talk about it, but it will be tapping your pressure points to release stress and tension. So these are strategies you can use in the workplace, you can use in your daily life. Come back next week. She's going to talk to us about EFT and how you can apply that to your life. Thank you so much for joining me today. Season 2, episode 1. And we'll see you next week, and we'll see you this whole season. And like always, like I say every episode, to stay lit. Don't burn out, but if you do, we have the tools to help you. So stay lit, keep shining, and ignite freedom. And we will see you next week.
Thank you for tuning in to From Weeping to Warrior, Igniting Freedom with Roshawn Nicole. To be a guest on the show, please contact us at info@RoshawnNicoleWellness.com. We would love to connect with you, so please take a moment to like, subscribe, and follow us on all social media platforms. We look forward to having you join us next time for Weeping to Warrior, Igniting Freedom with Roshawn Nicole.